Alright, so I think everything should be good. I did test my volume. I liked it, but I won't know until the end of the video. So if something is wrong with the volume or anything is wrong in this video, this is my first video that I'm doing about my vlog and talking about, I'm sorry, if you see me looking down, basically I'm just looking at some notes that I have. But basically what I wanted to talk with you all about is just basically making some good life decisions and choosing relationships that serve us. That's what this is about. Choosing relationships that serve us. I'm sharing this with you guys because some things in this discussion are some things that I wish people would have told me, but throughout life, I kind of learned these things. So, my first point in choosing relationships that serve us. We as individuals, we have to be able to accept differences in opinions. And when accepting differences in opinions, that basically means that you're not going to agree with everybody. Everybody is not going to agree with you. So in life, you should take it upon yourself to embrace differences in opinions, because from that's when you can factor in your own decision or your own analogy of things. You have to go through life yourself. With life, a lot of people like to do is tell you their version or their point of view of things. But we all have a different life to live, and this life is different for each and every one of us. There's millions and billions of people on this world, on this planet. So I guess I can go into a little bit of situation and what I was dealing with in like a conflict relationship, a negative relationship that I was dealing with. Basically, what the person would do was, I would say something, like I would say right, they would say left, and they're like, well, you should go left because it's best to go left. And, it just wasn't, at first I was like, well, maybe you're right, maybe it is left. You did kind of say I should go left, so I would do that. But in doing that, I began to lose myself. So I'm here to tell you all that if you feel a certain way in your heart and you know that the Lord has spoken to you, or you know that this is right for you, you should stick with what you feel and be able to accept differences in opinions. And people that cannot accept differences in opinions, you should separate yourself from those type of people, because they're going to become massive influences on you and basically pressure you into going left. So you shouldn't do that. Okay, next. I have on my notes that in differences of opinion, you should know the difference. So basically, you should know the difference. Where I was going with that, basically, you should know the difference when somebody is forcing you to feel a certain way. If somebody is forcing you to see their views, see their point of views. If someone cannot accept the way that you feel and move on, that's not right. If it's something bad and you think, or hey, you asked for it, but if it's a way that you feel and somebody's trying to change the way you feel, you should never do that. That's something that, you should never do. Never allow somebody to change the way that you feel, because that's the way that you feel. That's not how they feel. All right, moving along. Being able to walk in your truth. You should be able to walk in your truth. So, in saying that, that's, for instance, you know what is right for you. You know that you want a healthy relationship. You know that you want to be able to communicate. You know who you are. But when somebody comes and projects, never allow someone to project themselves onto you. They don't know what they want, so what they do is tend to cloud your mind up or nitpick. And that's what they'll do. They'll nitpick at something that you have, and you didn't give it a lot of thought. Anything that you've given a lot of thought to and effort, put a lot of effort in, you should never let anyone change that. You should be able to walk in your truth. So if that's true for you, what may be true for one is not always true for the other. And I'm gonna give you an example for this. It's something that happened in my life. So I was dating this guy, and he was making some decent money, and I was making some decent money, and he thought that I needed him as far as buying a home. And the conversation went somewhere as, hey, I was dealing with my realtor person who was building up my credit, and I was going in a direction that I wanted to go in, and he actually wasn't even in the market until I told him about it, and told, he still didn't know. So he wasn't really knowledgeable of the home buying process. Like, I had educated myself about the home buying process for years. It's not something you could just jump into. You have to educate yourself. So he wanted me to follow his person. He's like, hey, remember the dancing lady? And I'm like, yes, I do remember the dancing lady. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go with her. You can hop on this ship, or you could just do whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, just because she dances, I'm not gonna be sold on her. So, we go into this big ordeal or whatever. And he made the comment, well, I don't need you. I don't need your income, and I don't need I forget what he said. I don't need your income, and I don't need your credit. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I hung up, so I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. I got something to do. So I was like thinking to myself, well, I don't need you either. I have my own credit, which is my credit is probably going to be better than yours because I've been working on it and doing what I have to do, which is what he doesn't know. And, I've been working at this for a while, so I don't need you either. So I decided to walk into my truth, and I was actually thinking about buying a home with this gentleman, but I changed my mind after all that, because who wants to go into a situation where a person feels entitled, or a person feels that, hey, I don't need you, so, what are we doing? And so that was that. But being able to walk in your truth, being able to know who you are, not letting a person, even if you love them or you care about them, not letting them change how you feel, because you know the truth and you know it for yourself. Another thing I have on here is not letting anyone cloud your judgment. People tend to do that. So in relationships, we have people that want us to do, well, we'll have an idea, we have a clear thought about something, and a person will want us to do something that they want us to do, and it's not right, or you may be jumping the gun or skipping a step, because that's kind of like, I'll go back to that example that I used about the home. So basically what he was doing was he was jumping right into going to a realtor. So I was like, I had a realtor, but in the process that we were in, we weren't ready to talk to a realtor. We were in the credit building stage, excuse me. So anyone that knows anything about the home buying process, that it's stages to it. You can't just, let me go apply for a home. Because what you're going to do, you're going to knock all your points down, all that type of stuff, and, it's just going to be bad for you. So it's best to monitor your credit and find out. So I was trying to tell him that, but he didn't want to hear that. So I wasn't going to let him cloud my judgment, because he was saying, well, we should go do application. Well, I'm going to go do this application, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. But, I wasn't going to let him cloud my judgment, because I wasn't messing with my credit, and I wasn't doing applications when I knew I wasn't ready to even talk to a realtor yet, and I had to get myself straight. So I didn't let him cloud my judgment, and you should do the same. Don't let anyone cloud your judgment. When you know what's right, you do what's right for you. All right, and which brings me to my last point. Doing what's best for you. I'm trying to hurry up because I don't want it to be too long, but doing what's best for you. So basically what this is, you matter. You have to know that you matter. And in that, if you're in a situation that you feel that something is not right, things are not right, energies are just not flowing, this person is just not right or whatever. He did use a great analogy. He was like, you shouldn't fight the waves. If you're going, like, imagine going down a river and a river is flowing. It's going to be very hard for you to try to go up that river when the river is flowing backwards. You're going to hurt, you're going to hurt yourself. So if that river, I said it to say, if that river is flowing and if your river is not flowing, that's what should I say, and you find yourself fighting against waves, and you find yourself fighting against situations that's not serving you, situations that's not beneficial to you, you shouldn't do that, because that's not serving you. Because life shouldn't be like that. It's not going to be easy and it's not going to be peachy, but it should have a consistency. So when you do hit a bump or something, what you're going to do is you're going to just adapt and move. You shouldn't, we tend to let things get to us and get the best of us. And as healthy living and a healthy way to think is, think of your life as a river, and you should just flow. Even if a river flows into a rock or something, it goes around that rock, and you just have to adapt and adjust. And if for these relationships in your life that you're encountering are not adapting with you or not flowing with you and not serving you, then you don't need to be in them. And you could cut that loose. And that's for anybody. That could be a parent, that could be a spouse, that could be a teacher, that could be a job. If it's not serving you, honey, you should let it go, because ultimately it's gonna hurt you. And what do you do when you fight against the river? Eventually you get tired and you drown and you die. So you don't want to kill your spirit and yourself fighting relationships that don't serve you. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, as I enjoy giving you guys this information. I plan to be back soon, and thank you all for tuning in. And I am Tenobia. So, all right, peace.